This hour, recession and tariff fears rattling this market once again, or the media would certainly like you to think that's what's causing it, as President Trump and the administration play the economic long game.
The underlying economy is healthy. There is no reason we have to have a recession. What I could guarantee was if we had kept going the way we were, we would have been in a financial crisis. And President Trump has put the brakes on this. We are going to get this spending under control. We are going to bring manufacturing back home, and we are going to make the country more affordable for working Americans.
And Vice President J.D. Vance explaining why these tariffs are necessary.
President Trump is starting with and is dead serious about rearranging our trade and tariff regime internationally. We believe that tariffs are a necessary tool to protect our jobs and our industries from other countries.
And what about the other side of the aisle, railing against tariffs? But listen to what Chuck Schumer just said about our hard-earned money.
You know what their attitude is? I made my money all by myself. How dare your government take my money from me? I don't want to pay taxes. Or, I built my company with my bare hands. How dare your government tell me how I should treat my customers, the land and water that I own, or my employees? They hate government. Government's a barrier to people, a barrier to stop them from doing things. They want to destroy it. We are not letting them do it, and we're united.
Steve, yeah, they really hate, government doesn't really hit it. They hate Chuck Schumer.
Yes, but
they hate what those people,
exactly
do with our hard-earned money, because they basically set fire to it. Actually, if they burned it, they could at least keep some people warm.
Exactly. I mean, look, that guy.
Yes, that was shrill, and I don't care.
I was going to say, you go for it. I mean, but what, waving his fist? My God, F you, Chuck Schumer. For goodness sake, do they ever learn?
No.
Right?
No.
This is, you didn't build that all over again.
Yeah, that's right.
How many years ago was that from Obama? Their attitude never changes. They really don't get it. Hard-working, I've started companies. The idea that somehow that's the government, people who take risks and do things, whether that's a small local store or a bar or a restaurant or, NVIDIA, right? A great American entrepreneur we're just hearing about at the top of the show. All these incredible achievements that built this amazing nation.
The problem is,
it's unbelievable.
The problem is every year they keep asking for more, whether
Right.
you're an individual or your business, and you sit back and you pay them more because you're scared of them, and then you get less and less in return for it, and you can see that diminishing over time. And you just, Taylor, you said yesterday, there are some days I give away half my money, and I say, why the hell am I waking up and coming to work today when nobody else is? And people have that
We
thought.
still need you to come, though.
Well, I'm still going to come, and so is Taylor. But you get the point. And so when you listen to Chuck Schumer say that, it's not this blind hatred of government, it's how they're doing things. And so to bring this back to President Trump and Scott Bessent and playing this long-term game, I'm fully supportive of what he's trying to do. He warned us. He said there might be some pain with the tariff conversation and the negotiations as we move forward. But the long game is what we have to fix here. Because if we don't, we're going to end up broke as a country. We're going to end up out of money, and we're not going to be able to really do anything that we hoped. And we'll see China become the nation's largest superpower. Nobody wants that.
I agree with Schumer. He says government is a barrier to people. A barrier to stop them from doing things. Yes. Government gets in my way. Small businesses, to your point, are successful despite government, not because of it. Jensen Huang of NVIDIA is successful because he's figuring out how to do it without the help of government, not because the government. So yes, government is a barrier. Get out of the way and let me run a business. Let me invest. Let me do my thing. I will not repeat it. But again, if you start to take half my money, I start to wake up and think, why am I coming to work when you're taking all of it from me?
I'm jumping in here, but there's an amazing chart. I mean, the person that I first saw put it out there was Mark Andreessen about a year ago.
Who I'm
showing-
upset. I'm deeply obsessed with him.
Mark Andreessen.
Yeah, I'm really obsessed with him, and like this close to being creepy.
Okay, well, anyway, there's this amazing chart where you look at productivity growth in different sectors, right? And the lines go up in all the sectors that are the private sector.
Yes.
And anything that the government runs or touches, education, healthcare, whatever,
Right.
all going down.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
the government is
Because they're
hopeless.
touching it.
Because they're touching it.
So connect it back to Scott Besson, who's also part of this. That's why he keeps saying re-leverage the private sector and de-leverage the government
Yes.
sector, because you want the line that goes up. And that's why, by the way, Senator Schumer has to go so crazy about this. He has to get real. Well, one, because he's vulnerable, because all the people on the left now hate him
Right.
for voting for the CR. He's got all sorts of problems. But the other one is he actually knows if Trump and Besant succeed in what they're talking about, people will like it. And he knows that politically is very, very bad for him. You made such a good point, Jackie. You said he's trying to characterize Americans like they're in a blind rage about taxes. People are very cold and calculating about taxes, and they know their money's being wasted.
Yeah.
That's why they don't like it.
Because I was raised by small business owners who, again, were put out of business because of what politicians did on trade.
Yes.
They knowingly shipped great American jobs overseas. They unbolted our textile factories and our furniture factories and sent them to China and made promises that they never kept. And they brought, again, cheap. Walmart put my parents out of business.
Yes, well,
Yep.
well, that's
And-
why this point about the long game is so serious, right? You're seeing a massive rebalancing going on in our economy, from global to American, from finance to production and manufacturing, and all these things, and as we just said, from government to the private sector, like really big shifts. That's what they're trying to engineer, and it's a real economic revolution on a par with what we saw with the free market revolution from Reagan and Thatcher in the 80s.
So when he talks about deleveraging, this is Scott Besant, he is talking about leverage. $8 trillion in new borrowing
Right.
in the last 4 years. And they were still spending more than they were taking in taxes every year, $2 trillion deficits year after year after year. And I know that I sound like a broken record, but this nation is on the cusp of entering a interest rate death spiral unless Scott Besant gets a hold of it with policy and it's the walk and the talk, where we have 57% or $16.2 trillion in our publicly held debt that has to be rolled over in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
If that gets away from you, this nation's economy is over.
Yeah. Well, that's why he says, this is why he talks about watching the 10-year. That's why he cares so
Right.
much about it. It's not it actually fits together. A guy who knows Wall Street has some logic here, and he's bringing it to bear. And people who don't understand financial logic, like Chuck Schumer, just go on The View and complain about it.
To bring it back to NVIDIA a little bit
Yeah.
at the top of the show, Dagan, that you were mentioning, a lot of people are hoping that this conference refocuses the administration, refocuses Wall Street back on the AI revolution, which, as one analyst says, this is year 3 of an 8 to 10 AI revolution. One analyst said, right now we're all upside down on all of our calls. We're all overweight on the Mag 7, and that's an upside down trade right now. But we're not playing for the next 3 months. We're playing for the next 1 to 3 to 5 years. So I think if you're an investor in these markets as well, you can heed some of these calls, that if you are and have the stomach to be in this AI game, this is a 5-year game. Probably longer, maybe a 10-year game. But there is room to think long term if you can trust these innovators that are building these companies in America. They're not building the companies in Europe. They're not really building the companies in China. They're building them in America. And if you can trust them, it could be a good trade 5 years from now, but it could be a bumpy ride.
In terms of kind of refocusing the future of the American economy. Earlier, I was talking about we need to, for our national security, to actually manufacture very high-end semiconductors and chips, like NVIDIA's chips here. And one of the viewers noted that you should mention that Taiwan Semiconductor has committed to investing $100 billion over the next 4 years in Arizona.
Yes.
And that's under President Trump. But one thing we were talking about, we started with Chuck Schumer. One thing that cracks me up about the Democrats, they always, and it just displays and exemplifies their utter lack of knowledge about finance and economics, is they always talk about tariffs or a tax on consumers, but you raise corporate taxes here, and that's just hurting billionaires. So you tariff. You tariff I stole it from Tom Phillipson, who's an actual economist, and I just repeat what other economists say, that you tariff a manufacturer overseas, that hurts, that's just taxing an overseas manufacturer. And, but here, the corporations employ Americans. But they don't care about that.
Right. The other aspect of this we have to look at, though, is the regulation, which is a kind of tax in terms of impeding business activity.
Yeah.
And you look at why we're not, you don't want to manufacture in America, certainly in places run by Democrats like California, the environmental regulations, the labor regulations. Look what they did with the CHIPS Act. Oh, we're gonna have taxpayer money to subsidize high-end manufacturing. And then they layer on, when they actually implement the law, endless favors to their union friends, the Democrats. Like, you've got to have union workers, and you've got to have childcare in the workplace.
Right.
On
and
and
no
on.
one wanted to do it,
Social
and then not
policy.
one chip was produced.
Yeah.
Incredible.